Okay, so I found this little child's, it's like an antique child's little like kitchen cabinet type of thing at Restore. And the doors obviously are missing. You can tell there were shelves there. This is exactly how I found it. But I picture it as being just like a little piece with two drawers that maybe you could set on a, you know, like on your desk or something. Maybe put like a label here, some new knobs obviously, but we are going to try and repurpose this thing and see what we can do with it. So the first thing we're gonna do is, we turned it on its side obviously, and we're gonna cut this top piece off. So we're just making that line there to cut it, you know, so it's even. And then we're gonna take this whole top piece off, and we're gonna try and keep it intact because we're hoping maybe we can use some of these pieces to add to this so we can still have the original wood at the top here in the back. Okay, so here's a little tip that, I don't know if we learned this from my dad, but he just added painter's tape around here so that it just is gonna protect the wood as he is cutting like this little area off, right? Mm-hmm. Is it so you don't scratch this, so you don't go, just, I mean, but this wood, you can see here, I am gonna sand it down and all of that, and depending on what it comes out and how we can figure out how to do this back, I may paint it, I don't know yet, but that's just a little trick or a tip to protect the wood. Just use some painter's tape. Okay, so he cut the sides along here, and then he had to cut all the way along here. And so now he's just trying to carefully pry. You can see the nails there. He's just using a crowbar. Flat bar. I always call that a crowbar. It's a flat bar. Just to kind of carefully get this back off. So you can see it here. And then here are the pieces. Again, it's so hard to recreate old wood like this. So if you're taking apart, let me kind of show you here too. If you're taking apart pieces like this, you can always turn these into old like signs. You could, you know, stencil some letters on there or handwrite them. It, you know, would even look really cool. We had a couple of pieces that were, I don't know what they were from, but they were kind of a little more ornate. And so we had them, see how we have 3 pieces here? We had, I think, like 4 or 5, and we actually put little hooks between them and little chains, and then we hung them, and it was like our family's last name established, like the year. But these would be really cute in a cabin, or but then just connect them and you still have the old wood, and you don't have to throw these out, because this old wood, it's one of my favorite things about pieces like this, because you just can't recreate it, and you can still do so much with these little pieces, so don't throw them out. Okay, so Matt actually cut down that longer piece that was up on the top. And so a way to kind of cover this edge that we now have, because we took off the back, was, I'm behind here now, but was to kind of add a lip here in the back. So he cut that down, so we still have the finished edge. But now we're gonna see if we can figure this out. But that's a way to kind of fill the gap on the back, but we still have this little area. So we're still just trying to piece it together. It may not work at all, and we may just have to put a whole new top on here, but we're just trying to see if we can get it so all of this can still be saved. Okay, we just didn't have enough pieces to get some good edges around here, so we are going to have to remove the top, and then we're just gonna have to put a new top on it. It stinks, but I'm still gonna get the look of the front and everything, but it just really looked pieced together, did not look good at all. So it was worth a try though. So if you can, if you've got enough pieces from what you took off to, you know, get it all together, definitely try it. But this one just didn't work that way. So have to find a new top for this one. we got this top off, and just a little tip, if the top or if something is glued down, and this is an old piece, use a heat gun to kind of, it just heats up the glue kind of. Sometimes I think it reactivates the glue or the adhesive, depending on what it is. And then we were able to pop it up. It was really hard, and then we found out it was glued. So we just used a heat gun, kind of warmed up the area, and then Matt was, it was easy to just pop it right off. So then he just used a sander on the top, because now that we're having to make a new top, this needs to be completely smooth, so then your new top will sit on there flush. We have the large clamps out. You can go ahead and so what he's doing now is he's just kind of, since the top's off, so that's not gonna hold it together, he's just reinforcing it kind of around here. Since again, we have to put on a new top, we just wanna make sure that the piece is, you know, reinforced. So we've just got the clamp to hold it together tight, and then he's just adding a few nails around it. And then he went in here. Matt, where did you go in here? Because you're going to nail up, you said?
Yeah, because we're going to screw from the bottom up. So I just made sure that was secure against that.
To here on both sides. Because he will screw up from here to attach the top, so that you don't see screw holes at the new top, if that makes sense. I thought I would try and see if I could use some stripper to take off the finish from this piece, but it didn't work. It wasn't removing the finish, and so I went on to plan B. The stripper just didn't work, as you can see here, so I just went ahead and sanded it all down. Sanded the piece down, and then I stained it all one color, but since we had to make a new top, the color just didn't match, and I didn't love it. So I thought I would really like it in this creamy white color, and again, I just didn't love it. So I used one of my favorite black paint colors and gave it a couple coats of that, and it was exactly what this piece needed. It just made it exactly what it needed to be. Now it's exactly what I pictured it as, from a child's kitchen to a little drawer piece that you could use in an office, in your dining room, your living room. It's got storage, but yet it's still a small piece that won't take up a lot of space. It's perfect.